Hi, welcome to Pushing Out Prevention, a Labor of Love podcast. I'm Renee Salyer with Kosciuszko Cares and Kosciuszko Drug Free. And today our topic is Families are the first line in prevention. This is our episode number 2. Melanie, do you want to take it away?
Yes, hi, I'm Melanie Wilhite with Kosciuszko Cares, and I think when we think about family as the first line of prevention, we ought to mention our Strengthening Families program. What do you girls think?
Yes.
I mean, that is a really good program for families. We do the program twice a year, usually in the fall and spring, and that will start with a family dinner. And we do think it's important to have families have dinner together. They'll also have breakout rooms for, the teens, the parents, and then we also have babysitting if you need to bring your small children. And then at the end, we'll go into a family activity where the family will be together just doing an activity, and I think that's super important. We do give out $100 gift cards if people attend 80% of the sessions. I think that's a nice incentive.
I do too. And I think it's also a great way to have families learn about prevention.
And then the breakout rooms are really nice. The youth get to separate into certain age groups. So each age group talks about whatever the topic is that night. So what's really nice is the teens get to also experience and talk about what it would be like for their parents. So they see
The
side of the
communication.
parent,
Yeah.
and they see their side and how they may affect some of the things that happen in the family. So
Yeah.
it's a really great eye opener for the teens as well.
And I think as far as families nowadays, communication is so important. Like you said, we're talking about that. And then anger management, too. And then they focus on the family meeting, saying how important it is to get your family together. And you can even plan out your menu for the week. You can plan out your sporting events. Let the kids pick their food. Just supportive as a family is so important. And then remember, you're raising these kids to be successful members of a community. I mean, like I think you spoke about, there's no manual we ever have to raise our kids, right?
Right.
We're doing it blind.
Yes. It's scary.
It is scary. And I always say raising kids is one of the hardest things you'll ever do.
It is.
It's not easy.
Yeah.
And then with teens and, we've got the social media thing going on now.
Yeah.
Our electronics where they're letting, kids are spending most of their time on electronics. And I think too, with strengthening families, we focus on maybe doing games, the old fashioned games, have a game night where you're getting together as a family and playing just an old fashioned game together.
Having fun together.
Yeah.
I think that's important. That they're learning not only to have those skills to parent in strengthening families, but it also provides an opportunity to have some fun, and then learning that you can, have time together to sit down and have a meal and listen. Because I think teens and children these days just want someone to listen to them.
Right. And when we're talking about fun, it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Get together and go do the trails at Winona Lake together, or
Right.
pack a picnic dinner.
Yeah.
Like you said, a movie together.
Yeah.
Say, you know what, it's Sunday night or Saturday night. We're going to watch a movie together as a family and have some popcorn.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Mhm.
And in the communication piece, I just wanted to mention, I think it's super important that you just listen to your team. I may still say no to my kids, but I'm going to make sure I still listen. And I think that teaches respect when a teen knows that you're going to respect them and take that time to listen.
Right.
And I think as well as electronics, parents shouldn't be stuck on their phones all night either.
Right. Right.
Because I've heard that from teens we worked with that, well, my mom or my dad, they're just always on their phone. They
Yeah.
don't listen to me.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing that we need to be aware of.
It starts at home. It really does.
Creating that space where they feel safe and they feel like they can express themselves in a way that maybe sometimes isn't completely healthy, but if you know that that's where they're at, you can get them the help they need. And prevention is part of recognizing that and stepping in as a parent and taking, oh my goodness, maybe I need to do a little bit more here.
And I
Or-
think if you see your teen becoming withdrawn and kind of not doing things and maybe not being a part of what they used to be a part of, a sport or whatever, they're withdrawing from everything. I think that's a sign where you need to step in and find out what's wrong.
Yes.
Like, don't just shove it under a rug.
No, and keeping that line of communication open allows them to come to you when there is a problem
Mhm.
and be able to say, "I need help," if they know that they've got that safe adult
Yeah,
to do that with.
right, and, we've talked about it when we work with teens, they do want rules. They
Mhm.
do want parents that go to their sporting events. They do want their grades looked at.
Yes.
And I just think that that is so important nowadays. I know everybody's busy, but boy, your teen wants your support. And they
Mhm.
need that now more
Yeah.
than ever, I think.
Yeah. So strengthening families really is like a support group for the family and a support group to help the parents through problems or
Mhm.
issues that they're having with
Mhm.
their family unit.
Right.
We do these every so often in different parts of the county, and a good way to like learn about where we're having strengthening families is to go to our website inspire-in.org, or if you're interested in being a part of strengthening families, the next cohort, you can comment on this podcast and let us know, and we'll reach out to you and give you some information.
Yeah, our next one is in the fall, and it'll be held in Warsaw. We usually hold it out at Valley Fellowship Church. It starts at 6 o'clock. It'll run until 8. Um, should be about 11 to 14 weeks
Yeah.
and it takes that time to kind of build that structure. And then, we talked about networking with the other families, how huge that is, because then you have other families that have the same issues you have,
Exactly.
and you're able to kind of bounce things off each other.
Right.
So we'll do a flyer for that program, and like Renee said, we'll have it out on our website. You can leave a comment, and we'll make sure that you get one as we get closer to that program.
So I don't know, we have a few more minutes to just talk about some tips for parents. Social media is a huge thing, and really being proactive with your child's cell phone, knowing that that's their phone, it's their privacy, and to some respects, but really, you pay the bill, so you should be able to check in on that cell phone.
Yeah, and there's just so many apps right now out there that they're involved in that you might not know about, or so being able to pick up the phone and see where those apps are and do your research and find out what they are. Snapchat scares me to death because there's things that can be sent to them and then it disappears.
Right.
There's not even supporting in what they saw, or and I know we've talked a little bit about bullying and
Mhm.
how social media is being used to do that. And your child could be a victim of that and you not even know it. So either
I agree.
another things to be aware of when you're checking out these new apps that they're on.
Yes, it's so important. And I think along with strengthening your family, it is also important to those talks with your kids about things that are concerning you, and then keeping that line of communication so that you can hear what's concerning them as far as bullying goes, because if it's happening and you don't know it, how can you help them through it?
And I think parents need to be aware. Mental distress is probably one of the first signs. And when your child doesn't want to go to school,
Yes.
Mhm.
that's probably a sign something's going on, and you need to kind of delve deeper into what's happening. And there's
Right.
nothing wrong with that. And even if you need to go talk to the teachers, but you need to stop that. And it's even happening in elementary school. I hate to say it.
Yeah, it's worse now than ever, and it's because of being access to
Availability. Yeah.
availability to social media, and kids are more um, like to be they're anonymous in some respects because they can kind of hide behind a screen and not do it in front of somebody.
It's easier to
It's
bully
easier.
someone by
Yeah.
text or on
Yeah.
media because you don't have to be face to face with them.
Exactly.
And that has made things so much worse for our youth.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really has.
Yes. And this all ties together with prevention, because of substance use. I mean, eventually, things are going to weigh on your child if you're not a proactive parent to that might enforce them to go for a substance and drink or smoke marijuana. And really, parenting is the first line in prevention. It really is.
And I think maybe they are turning to some of the substances, like you said, because the anxiety
Mhm.
of everything and the bullying and everything. And we talk about bullying like by text or social media. And what you should tell your teen or your youth is that they shouldn't answer that message.
Right.
Let it go. But their first instinct is
Yes.
to that
Yeah, because their
don't
brain isn't
right,
fully formed, so the fight, flight, or freeze is going to
yeah,
kick in, and they want to
right.
react.
And the decision making part of your brain is the last to develop.
Mhm.
So that's why you're seeing some of these decisions.
Yes.
And
true.
we need to get that out to teens and parents that your brain is not fully developed until you're 25. And so when your teen's making some of these decisions, that could be the reason why.
Right.
So
So understanding that and really being the resources that you need to help your youth through these challenges. That's what Kosciuszko Cares is all about. And we're here to help in any way. The podcast, we're going to be spreading more messages about different tips and resources. We'll be having some guest speakers on sometime here soon. And so we hope that you'll stay tuned and join us again when we have our next podcast, number 3, coming up soon. In the meantime, reach out to us at inspire-in.org or comment on this podcast.